For the first time, we're learning about test results showing why some trampoline parks can be so dangerous. A Virginia engineer says the way many trampolines are bound together in these parks can create an unsafe transfer of energy. The number of emergency room visits from trampoline park injuries soared to nearly 18,000 in 2017. Meg Oliver has been covering this story for months. Meg, good morning.
Good morning to all of you. An engineer is sharing years of scientific research that show the dangers behind the design of some trampoline parks. He's now going public with his findings for the first time.
So how long have you been testing these trampoline parks?
For about 6 years.
This crowded basement at Virginia Commonwealth University is Dr. Pete Pitko's lab.
You can actually see this moving.
The biomechanical engineer and university professor tests trampolines found at trampoline parks and compares them to gymnastic trampolines.
And what did you find?
We found there is energy transferred between trampoline beds. It's really one big trampoline.
Why is that dangerous?
Because it makes the system unpredictable. The trampoline surface is changing height. Have you ever stepped for a step that isn't there? Picture having that happen on a trampoline.
This video shows the energy transfer at a New Jersey trampoline park. A dad double bounces his son and as a result breaks the child's femur.
It's the largest bone in your body. It takes about 900 pounds to break it.
900 pounds?
Now he's a child, so say maybe half of that.
Dr. Pitko tests the trampolines with an impulse hammer and accelerometers to study the rebound effect. He measured how much force a 220-pound dad could transfer into his 30-pound son on a surface that's constantly changing.
What we notice is the father transferring into the son 400 pounds of force.
Wow.
But the bigger number is how fast that force is actually provided. It's like getting hit with a hammer.
In this clip, both jumpers are roughly the same size.
You have a young man in black. He expected the trampoline to be at one height. It wasn't, and he just broke his ankle.
Utah trauma surgeon Dr. Craig Cook says he has treated about 100 patients with severe trampoline park injuries, broken legs, spinal fractures, and head trauma.
These are the type of injuries that we'd see with high velocity type of trauma. Motor vehicle crash, at 90 miles an hour that rolls, or a motorcycle accident where a victim's, thrown off their motorcycle and they fly 100 feet.
Not all trampoline parks are created equal.
Rob Arnold is CEO of Launch Trampoline Park. The company has 30 parks nationwide with dozens more under construction.
You mentioned that at one of your parks you did have a neck injury.
There was a neck injury, yep.
And does that ever just think, maybe it's just too dangerous?
No, it doesn't. It's like somebody putting on a pair of skis and going down a mountain. There's an inherent risk with what you're doing.
This New York City park, which opened last November, says they haven't had any severe injuries to date. Arnold believes the benefits of jumping greatly outweigh the risks.
Children with autism absolutely love the facility. We have kids that have come in obese and they didn't want to play sports, they got picked on, and all they wanted to do was come to launch.
Arnold estimates more than 100,000 people visit each of his parks every year. And despite no federal regulations, Arnold says safety is a top priority. Launch covers their springs.
This is woven in so that kids cannot hit the springs with their feet.
And uses redundant trampolines.
Do all of your trampolines have another trampoline underneath?
Every single one.
Pitko says a second layer of protection is helpful, but there are still risks.
If the top one rips, you've got a second one to hit. The problem is if the top one actually goes far enough to hit the second one, it changes how the whole trampoline system feels.
Launch connects their trampolines with a steel bar. Dr. Pitko's research says it can reduce energy transfer, but doesn't eliminate it. Over a 5-year period, people reported more than 15,000 injuries at trampoline parks nationwide. And CBS News has confirmed at least 6 deaths since 2012. Experts believe that cable and chain connections many parks use are flawed.
What do you want consumers to know based on your research?
Everybody in that system is influencing everyone else's jump.
In the upcoming months, Dr. Pitko is hoping to publish the data he collected in a sports medicine journal. We asked Rob Arnold if Launch could survive if they took those forced arbitrations out of their contracts, which cuts down on the legal action people can take against the parks. Arnold was confident they could. He also told us that he supports federal regulation and would be willing to work with lawmakers.
The owner of Launch, I thought, made good points to say not all trampoline parks are created equal. On the other hand, when you listen to what the doctor says, it's very scary. Does the doctor think that none of us should use them? Because I don't see people giving up trampolines.
Right. Well, he basically says that this energy transfer makes it so unpredictable. And I liked his analogy of when you're going down that staircase and you think you missed a step.
Yes, I just did that.
And you're kind of like, oh. But
yes.
in their park at Launch, they have these steel bars that's supposed to reduce the energy transfer, but Dr. Pitko says it doesn't eliminate it.
I go with my kids regularly. I mean, they're
And what are you
fun.
thinking now, Mom? What are you thinking?
Well, I always do things carefully. I'm trying to be as careful as possible.
Yeah.
This is a good story.
Yeah.
Well, that's also what's important is if you know there's the risk and then you just, everybody goes in knowing it. I think probably the problem is a lot of people think, oh, it's, totally harmless fun.
Right, and if I fall, I'll just bounce right back.
Exactly.
No,
That's why I think this is important.
So
to
instead
at
of
least know the
a
risk.
double back, instead of 2 double back tucks, I've just been doing 1.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
But just at least as you know the risk. A lot of us, you're right, John. I would never think that it could be that dangerous. Thank you, Meg. Good to have you at the table.